Coming up on FYI, it's been a very wet winter, but is our drinking water at risk of running out?
And I headed to one of the biggest drag events in the UK to find out why drag is so important to young fans.
You don't need to be the same as everyone else. Like, you can be your own person.
This is FYI, your weekly guide to all the news stories that matter to you.
Yeah, and all over the news this week is the government repeating their advice to head teachers in England about stopping the use of mobile phones in schools. So basically, they think that phones are a distraction and that they're often used for bullying. But many schools already have a ban like this in place.
Yeah, my school's completely banned phones, even during break and lunch.
Yeah, mine too.
So, did you see that a mum's campaign to stop under-14s from even having smartphones has gone viral? It's because of her and other parents having concerns that phones impact mental health. What do you reckon?
I think it's a good idea, but maybe 14 is a bit too old.
Yeah, I don't think teenagers would be too happy about that.
Yeah, definitely.
And sticking with the subject of phones, what do you think about this next story? Does it ring true? A village in France has completely banned the use of smartphones in public places for both adults and children.
According to reports we've seen, people aren't allowed to use their phones in shops, restaurants, or even in the park. But is that fake news or fact? Find out later in the show.
Now, February is LGBT History Month. It's a time to reflect on the lives of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people. The plus represents people of all identities.
Yeah, and drag is a really important part of the history of the LGBT+ community. If you've been to a panto, you'll have seen drag on stage. The panto dame is traditionally a male actor dressed as a female character. In fact, drag can be traced right back to the 16th century, when playwright William Shakespeare was alive. In those days, only men were allowed to perform in theatres, so they'd play the female roles as well.
It's actually thought the word drag came from the way that actors' dresses would drag along the floor.
But drag has come a long way since then. I went to one of the UK's biggest drag events to find out why it's so important.
This is DragCon. It's a massive convention where drag performers from all over the world gather together in one place. There's fierce performances on the runway and fans get to meet their favourite drag queens.
It's just an amazing atmosphere and it proves that you don't have to be ashamed of who you are.
It's just all around such a positive environment to be in.
It's really important because I can express myself and I don't need to be like everyone else.
Drag today is getting more and more popular, and it's not just as simple as male performers dressing up as female characters. It's an art form that means a lot to its fan base.
Drag shows that anything is possible, and it shows that you can be exactly who you want to be. You can wear what you want to wear and feel fabulous, and I think everyone deserves that.
Anyone can do drag. You know, the world's serious enough without everybody else taking themselves too seriously.
And there are lots of kids who are here to get involved and perform, like Lily.
How did it feel to be up on the catwalk?
Really scary but super fun because I love drag and I watch it all the time with my mummy.
Now, this is a family-friendly event, and there are kids of all ages here. But there are some people who say drag isn't suitable for kids.
Something that's growing in popularity is drag performers reading stories to children and their parents who bring them along. But some people have been gathering to protest against these storytime events.
I do shows for kids. I have a collection of children's stories that I wrote, and I make shows for children. I think it's about the right show in the right place for the right audience. I think if you're making age-appropriate work and you're doing it in a respectful way and you know your audience, then anyone can enjoy drag.
There could be some children that want to express who they are. You can be who you want to be and you're not restricted.
Coming here today has really changed my perspective of people in drag. And the amount of effort that people put in, I mean, I've seen amazing makeup, amazing outfits, oh my gosh, and people with balloons in their hair.
That looked really fun, Maya.
Yeah, it was.
Now, we've had more weather warnings for heavy rain. In fact, it's been quite a wet winter, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had lots of extreme weather and flooding. There have been 10 named storms, and parts of the UK have received well above average rainfall for this time of year.
It's hard to believe we could ever run out of drinking water, but could we? Scarlett's been investigating.
Water. It's always there, whether we're brushing our teeth, going for a swim, or just simply having a drink. Every day we all use it and need it. But have you ever stopped to think? Could all this water ever run out? Well, I've been looking into this. We live in a part of the world where it often rains, a lot. There are deep lakes, flowing rivers, and we're surrounded by the sea. Surely there's plenty of the wet stuff to go around, right? Well, if we look at all the water on Earth, a whopping 97% is salt water in our oceans. Another 2% is locked away as ice at the North and South Pole or in glaciers. So that leaves us just a tiny 1% that's drinkable. Suddenly, it doesn't sound like quite so much. And when it comes to preserving our water, I found out there are two things causing really big issues. The first is climate change. With recent record-breaking temperatures all around the world, water levels often become low, and the risk of drought can quickly follow. And then there's our planet's population. Every year, the number of humans gets bigger and bigger, so we need more and more fresh water. Some experts say that even countries with high rainfall like the UK could run out of water within our lifetimes. So what can we do about it? Well, I need some help here, so let's talk to Richard Thompson from the Environment Agency, whose job is to make sure we'll have enough water in the future. Hi, Richard. Well, we live in a country that's well known for wet weather, yet there's talk of us running out of water. Is this even possible?
Well, that's a good question, Scarlett, and what will happen in the future if we don't take action is that we will run out, but there is action that we can take, both in terms of developing some new supplies of water and also reducing the amount of water that we use in our home, and that's to make sure we're prepared for the impacts of climate change and a growing population in the country, which might grow up to 75 million people.
In drier countries, where water can already be difficult to access, the impact has been even greater. In some African countries, thousands of people have had to move home because their water supplies have dried up. And it's reckoned this number will rise to hundreds of millions over the next decade. So is anything being done about all of this? Well, across the world, countries are building more dams, like this one in Turkey. These create more consistent water supplies by collecting water from rivers and storing it for when it's needed. And there's also a way of making drinking water from seawater. Desalination plants remove the salt from seawater to turn it into drinking water, but they're very expensive to build and to run. So, Richard, how are we tackling the water shortage in the UK?
Well, there's a few things, Scarlett, that can be done. First of all, we can move water from wet parts of the country, such as Wales or Northern England, and move it down to where that water is needed, using big transfer schemes or connecting rivers and canals.
Can kids do anything to make sure we have enough water?
Yeah, we can do loads in the home, and it's really important that we start to see wasting water as something which is just socially unacceptable. You can turn the tap off when you brush your teeth. If we all do that, it saves about 500,000 litres of water a day. And also, if you want to, around your home, you can become a leak detective. You can go around and try and spot any leaky taps and let your parents know or any adults know so they can be fixed. So there's great ways around the home that you can help save water and help us make sure there's enough water for the future.
Thanks, Richard. That's great advice.
Thank you. You're welcome, Scarlett.
So what else can we all do to save water? Well, here's a couple more ideas I've thought of that might not be quite so obvious. Try collecting rainwater for any plants you've got around the house or in your garden. They prefer it to tap water anyway. And wear clothes more than once before washing them. It's easy to take water for granted, but it's important to remember it's precious and we can all look after it.
Here on this show, you can report on your own stories, just like FYI viewer Betty, otherwise known as DJ Sunshine.
Yeah, last year she told us about her love of DJing, so we thought it'd be pretty cool if she got to meet one of her DJ heroes on the set of this new music video. Check this out.
Right here, Jack shows us recording his music video for Never Be Lonely.
Feels
DJ myself, I'm so excited to see one of my musical heroes performing. And the video looks so cool. It's so futuristic. Look, they've even added a crowd in. Hi.
Nice to meet you, DJ Sunshine. I'm Jax Jones. How you doing?
Well, it was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
It was really cool.
Have you been to a music video before?
No, this is my first.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the music video you're recording today is all about?
We've done this music video in collaboration with Pokemon, and the idea is we're on the last party on Earth. I love Pikachu because he's in the video today, dancing with us.
How did you start making music and DJing?
I learned the classical guitar when I was 8 years old, and then I went on to teach myself the piano, the drums and the bass. And I was writing songs and producing music from about 15, and that led me up to what I'm doing today.
I love making music and always DJ for my friends when they come round. I've even streamed to 100 people before. I wondered if you had any tips to help me succeed with my music.
I think what you're doing now is perfect. Like, you having fun and experimenting and sharing it with your friends is the best way to develop your skills. So keep doing that, and also learn more about music in general, like listen to as much music as possible.
I thought you'd like this.
Oh, amazing. I think your one might be better than mine.
Thank you for joining me.
My absolute pleasure. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it so much, and thank you for coming all the way up here to hang out with me.
That's okay.
Great report, DJ Sunshine. Now, this made us go OMG. A set of false teeth have sold for a whopping £18,000.
Wow, they must be pretty special teeth.
Well, they belong to Sir Winston Churchill, Britain's Prime Minister during the Second World War. So that's why they got snapped up.
Now, for something incredible. 14-year-old magician Cillian O'Connor has wowed us all on Britain's Got Talent with his amazing tricks. And he joins us now in the studio. Hi Cillian, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
So before we get into your magic, let's talk about what you've been up to. Firstly, you're on Britain's Got Talent and you've just appeared on America's Got Talent. What was it like going all the way to the USA to perform your magic?
It was amazing, as it was my first time in the US, and it was just the stuff of dreams for me.
Now, you talked a lot about how you're autistic and that you feel autism is an ability, not a disability. And magic helped you realise that, right?
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to struggle a lot socially. Like, I knew what to say, but I didn't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Because of the magic, I've been able to improve my social skills and my fine motor skills.
So what do you want people to know about autism?
We see things differently than others, but that doesn't mean that we're less than others. We don't know how to do things, we learn over time. It's not just instinct.
You're actually going to be touring around the UK with a magic show later this year. I mean, did you ever imagine you'd be doing something like that?
Well, I've been doing magic since I was 7, and it's always been a dream of mine to have my own tour, and now I'm finally getting it this summer.
So, can you show us some magic?
Okay, I'm going to start off with this puzzle cube, and there's this hack to solve in 3 seconds. All you have to do is cover it with something, and 1, 2, 3, it will solve itself.
I'm not sure how that works.
I'm going to show you something using a deck of cards, but just so you know this deck isn't set up in any way, I'm going to completely mix it up. One of the benefits of having autism is that I can have an amazing memory. I'm going to try and memorize this deck in 3 seconds or less. 1, 2, 3. Thomas, please name a number between 1 and 52.
10.
10. The 10th card is the Ace of Clubs.
I believe you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th card is the Ace of Clubs.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's really impressive. Cillian, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you as well, Maya.
Thank you. So what did you make of this week's Fake News or Fact? The story that a village in France has banned the use of smartphones in public places is fact.
Yep, you're not allowed to scroll on your phone while walking down the street or in shops or cafes.
Well, I can't imagine that happening here.
Yeah, me neither. Well, that's about it from us, but just one more thing. This year is a leap year, which means there's one more day in our calendar year, and it happens to fall at the end of this month.
So, if your birthday is on the 29th of February, a big happy birthday to you.
See you next time for more top news.
Bye.